Hey guys, we're moving into April, so grab your tarot journals and let's see what advice the cards have for you this month. Hello and welcome back to my channel. If you have not met me yet, I am Leesa. I'm a certified tarot consultant whose goal is to help you leverage the power of the tarot. I do pick a card readings on this channel like this month ahead reading, and I also do tarotscopes, guided meditations, and other tarot related videos. So thank you for being here. If you have not subscribed, make sure that you do so that you don't miss our monthly readings, and hit a thumbs up if you're excited about this video. But it is time, guys, for April. We're moving into April, and I wanted to do a bit of a video here focusing this month's reading on not just some of the energies that are surrounding us, but also I was getting that idea in my head of planting seeds, right? So we're going to look at some of the seeds that you should be planting this season, this month, what you should be, looking at, seeds that you have planted in the past. And then also, of course, digging into some of those things like, the people around you and, some of the goals for this month and whatnot. So while I am shuffling, guys, take a couple of minutes here to just get into a nice fuzzy headspace, because you will be tapping into your intuition here in just a minute. If you've not done a pick a card reading before, then you will need to get into that headspace so that you can choose the right card for you. And if you are here for this reading, if you have found this video, then this reading is definitely for you. So like I said, grab that tarot journal, see what comes up for you today, and we will go from there. So let's see what we have here today. All right. So, and I'm using the Spellcasting Oracle deck today. Really enjoy this deck. So I have just 3 stones I'm going to show you today, 3 different colors. So take a look at those as I show them to you and decide which one speaks to you the most, and we will be going from there. Okay, so the first color that I have for you is this sort of blue aquamarine. And then I have this amethyst colored stone. And then the last one is like a milky white or a pearl color. Okay, lots of cubes today. So I have the blue, the purple, and the pearl color. So take a deep breath in and exhale. Pause if you need just a quick moment. And now that you have decided, if you chose the blue, I will be doing that reading first, so just stick around. If you are going to go with the purple or the pearl, I will be moving those aside, and we'll be getting to those in just a minute, so take a look at the timestamp, and I will see you there. All right, so if you went with this pretty turquoise color, then this reading is for you. And the card that we have for you to start with today is the card of boundaries. Boundaries. So throughout the month, have this as sort of a central theme for you. Consider the boundaries that you have. Too many boundaries, not enough boundaries between those things sort of externally and those things that you have internally. So what type of boundaries do you either need to put in a place, or what boundaries do you have to sort of let down, I guess, in order to, move forward through April better. So just a heads up, guys, we have 3 different decks here we're going to be working with on the spread, and then at the end we're going to pull 1 additional card from the Earth Power Oracle. So make sure that you stick around for all of that. But we are going to start out first with taking a look at the just the general energies that are going to be surrounding you in the month of April. And since we're looking at seeds, I want to consider some of the seeds that maybe you have planted in the past that I want you to spend a bit more time nurturing this month. Okay, so general energies here for the start, and then taking a look at what you should be nurturing a bit more, what seeds you need to be nurturing. So, all right, interesting. So this could be a month of a bit of conflict, guys, or sort of coming out of conflict, or you dodging conflict. I see a lot of and when I say conflict, I'm meaning more of, things along the ideas of thoughts, words, conversations, things along those lines. So, this could be you, having it out with coworkers or friends. It could be you feeling like you're kind of pushing out against the world, but at the same time, I feel like in many ways, for many of you, this is going to be you being able to hold your ground. With these being reversed, it's adding a bit of a change to the energies here. So, for some of you, this means that you are going to end up dealing more with kind of having to defend yourself, but doing it poorly. And some of you are going to do a much better job with that. In general, it feels like this month you're going to have to kind of push through a little bit more. But go back to sort of those ideas of, stopping and thinking, really start, thinking through actions and activities before you really push forward. And I think that's really going to help a lot. Actually, for a lot of you guys coming into April out of March, some of this is going to come simply from you being either really unwilling to move or being in a place where you feel like you need to guard and really hold tight to your beliefs and those things that you're passionate about. And it might actually be overdue in time for you to start making having some of these discussions or pushing forward in some of these changes. The Nine of Rods can be a great card in that, there's a lot of good things that are happening, but in many ways you're sort of blocking yourself in or suddenly not allowing yourself to see some different options there. So think about how that might all be playing together, kind of moving into this particular month. Now, looking at some things, a seed or a particular seed that you need to kind of look at or move forward with. A couple of different things here. For some of you, I'm seeing this idea of, maybe a hobby that you would sort of put down, and now's the time to go ahead and pick that back up. I see for a number of you that hobby could actually be something that will lead to some sort of financial gain. So maybe you had something that maybe you had a side gig that you were thinking you were going to do. This is a good month for you to spend a bit more time kind of cultivating that and seeing where that may go. For some of you, it has nothing to do with money. It just has to do with you, sitting down and working on something and practicing on something. I'm getting a lot of sort of artistic and sort of crafty type of stuff from this as well. So think about what types of things maybe you had started and then put aside recently. I'm getting the last 6 months here, and see what is there that you might be able to pick back up and sort of run with. All right. So I want to take a look at what is probably when it comes to seeds, then we're looking at seeds that you have already planted, but I want to look at what kind of the number one focus should be for you in terms of planting something new for this upcoming month. So in the month of April, what should you be planting? I want to give you some advice for, cultivating those things in your life. And I want to look at the month of April in general, and how that's going to seem for you down the line. So let's see what we get here. All right. All right, so we have the Nine of Cups, but it is reversed. So April is going to be a month for you when it comes to planting something, planting a seed, starting something, get just the tiniest bits out there and sort of in the ground and ready to grow. I want you to think about that dream that you've had, that thing that you think is too big to dream. This is the month for you to start taking some actions towards that thing. What is that thing that you've always hoped for that you figure is never going to come your way? What is that thing that you want so badly you can almost taste it, but you've been too afraid to make a move towards? April is the month for you to start making a move towards that particular thing. So what can you do? What tiny little step can you do? Do you need to put pen to paper? Do you just need to take that first action? What do you need to do in order to start making that thing just a teensy bit more closer to reality? And when it comes to some of the tips and stuff, guys, on how you can kind of cultivate things this month and sort of move things ahead, I'm seeing this idea of you being willing to make changes that maybe in the past you haven't always been willing to make. Be willing to look for new solutions to old problems. Okay, death reversed. Death is not, necessarily a scary card, right? It's just about transitions and moving forward. So how can you cultivate something new, something different with what you have moving ahead? Think about different solutions, different ways of considering, the problems that are in front of you. Think about really creative ways of considering what's in front of you and how to make things better for you. All right. At this point, and I know, guys, this deck looks really kind of strange. This is the Vice Versa Tarot, and it actually is kind of funky in that it is printed on both sides. So I'm not just holding the deck backwards. But at this point, guys, I'd like you, because I do want to think about some of the people in your life that you are close to. So at this point, I would like you to consider the 5 people in your life that you believe you'll be spending a lot of time with in April, or the people that are really important to you. Think about those 5 people, because we're going to look at them, and we're also going to look at some of that energy that you need to push towards you. Push away from you, and some that you need to pull towards you. And this card we're going to get to towards the end. Okay. Interesting, because I am getting, look at this. I'm getting this 9 again. And this is what it's saying, to push away from you. So this is interesting, guys, because you had this last month, and it's saying, you need to go ahead and kind of push that away. Some of you were actually in a position where things could have maybe been a bit better for you in March if you would have been perhaps open to hearing the opinions of other people, or being willing to take some aid or some help. Sometimes that can be really difficult for us as we move through something, especially if we're super committed or passionate about something. This is saying, be willing to get down your guard a little bit, be willing to let people in some. And when it comes to the things that you should pull towards you, this is asking you to, and I'm sort of seeing 2 different things here. And so this is, hold on just one second. Okay. So for some of you, the energy that you need to pull towards yourself this month has a lot to do with this idea of kind of going back to basics, going back to sort of those things that you should know from, I don't know, I'm getting this idea of that concept of, going back to the basics at school, right? Not necessarily at school, but that idea of going back to, like, what do you know is the really foundational pieces for you. It's kind of hard to be super creative, to come up with new things, if you don't have a really solid footing on where you're at. So for some of you, I'm just seeing this idea of kind of going back to basics. For others, it's asking you to actually look for someone who's an expert in your field, whatever issue you might be facing this month. Be willing really to ask for help. Be willing to reach out a hand, ask for help from people that are an expert in the area that you are in, and being willing to kind of listen to them and see what type of advice they have for you. And then when you look back at April right now, what we are seeing for you, a few months from now, when you look back at this, this could actually be, hopefully we can get a rein on this, but this could be a month of a bit of drama for you, or a time period where you're feeling like, maybe you let your emotions get away with you a bit. I mean, I can definitely see that sort of coming on here. If we look at this middle section here, you've got the last month kind of moving into this month. We didn't even look here. Taking a look at the people that you have around you. I mean, honestly, guys, those 5 people that you were considering in your head, I feel like many of them are going to help you kind of hold things down and keep things in balance, especially when it comes to your emotions and those things that you have sort of kind of emotionally brewing. So this could be a month for you where there's just a lot kind of going on. I'm seeing definitely a month where there could be some conflict or some, kind of fighting or lots of discussion, kind of going back and forth, a little bit of headbutting. This could be internal or it could be external, but I'm seeing a lot of those people closest to you really being a big help. Look for some of those things that are going to be a bit more creative, or at least a way into change. Jump for that thing that you've been hoping to see and just haven't seen yet. These are the seeds pieces, guys. These are the things we really want to think about. Nurture some of those things that you've been practicing and maybe not given enough time to in the past. Start setting down seeds for those things that you're really excited about, and be willing to think creatively about things. Now, I have one last card. I absolutely love this particular deck. It's actually my deck of the year when it comes to the Oracle. So I want to get that for you in just a minute, but I'm going to have it at the end. So go ahead and move to that timestamp and I'll see you there. Okay, if you chose purple, then this is your reading. And the card that we have for you is Strength. So this month is going to ask you to really dig deep into your inner reserves of strength. Build upon those things that you have, build upon your past, those things that you have had in the past that have made you the person who you are today. That's what the strength card is all about. What types of things have you done before that lend you the strength in order to be able to move ahead today? That's what that's all about. So, guys, just to give you kind of a heads up on what we're going to be doing in this reading, I do have 3 different tarot decks. We're going to be having the spread right here, and then towards the end, we're going to have one final pull from that Oracle deck over there. But wanted to take a look first with the first set of cards here at the general energies that are surrounding you this month. And then, of course, I want to take a look at that idea of planting seeds. So the first seed we're going to look at is the seed that maybe you have planted in the past that you perhaps need to spend a bit more time nurturing. Something that's already there, it's already in the ground, but you need to, so to speak, but you need to spend some time nurturing it. We're also going to look kind of at the energy timeline, so to speak, for you. But let's see what we have. So when it comes to the month of April, wow. All right. So this is a month where there is actually a whole lot of things that could be starting for you, things that could be beginning for you. I feel like April is going to be a time where you're going to have just a bunch of ideas and you're going to be really excited about a lot of things. There is a possibility this month where you could, have some things that you maybe weren't expecting that might end up going wrong, or you might have these great pie in the sky ideas that might end up being completely unreasonable. So both of those things are kind of possible. No one loves it when we see that type of stuff, but the reality is, this is why we try to do these things, right? So we can be prepared for this stuff. So hopefully you have your tarot journals out and you're jotting some of this down. So just kind of keep an eye out for stuff where being excited and optimistic and ready to do some, new things is great, but make sure you're being somewhat realistic so that the world doesn't come crashing down at you at one point or another. So taking a look at March, wow. All right, so for many of you guys, March is one of those, it has been one of those months where things have just been really busy for you. Things have been busier than they have been in the past. I'm seeing, it's so funny, I'm getting that idea of like cleaning. Some of you may have done like some of that basics like spring cleaning just for the month of March. But this is a month it was a month for you that actually could have been quite busy, and that's going to sort of extend and really impact the energies of April. So think about what that was for you and how that's going to impact things. There's still that very fiery energy, though, kind of moving into the month, especially internally. I would say with the 3 of Swords here and that possibility of things maybe not quite turning out the way that you were hoping, I would say look at some of these things that maybe you launched in the air in March that might not quite be turning out right for you in April. Those would be kind of my first indications. Now, looking at the seed that you might need to spend a bit more time looking at, and we get the Fool. And the Fool card in this deck is actually really interesting. It's very different. So I'm just going to kind of do this so that you can take a look at it a bit more. But what I'm seeing for you in terms of seeds that have been planted that you need to nurture a bit more. There are some steps that you took in the past to become, I want to say, more mature. For some of you, this is definitely things that have to do with growing up in some way or another. And I mean, we can continue to grow up throughout our lives, so it doesn't necessarily mean that you're, I'm speaking only to young people here, but there are some things dealing with maturity and this idea of growing up that you planted in the past. So the seeds were there, but you're not nurturing those things. You're not following through with that. So think about some of those things that you did where you're trying to take better responsibility over your own life. And all of us have those things, but April's a good month for you to kind of reboot those and see, if you can kind of recommit to some of those things and find out where that stuff is going to take us or take you. So let's take a look at kind of what would be the number one thing for you to kind of spend, if you're going to plant a seed, what do you want to plant in April? We're also going to look at kind of some of my best advice for you in regards to sort of cultivating what you have going on in your life right now. And then, of course, we're going to look at sort of that, what does April look like in general? See what we get. All right, so number one opportunity for you. Wow, okay, 10 of Swords, but reversed. I would love to see the 10 of Swords reversed every day upside down versus right side up. So what you need to cultivate here, guys, there's this seed of, this concept in this seed of resilience and, strength. Goodness, going back to this idea of strength. Here it is. The 10 of Swords reverse, guys, is about taking things that have been going on in your life that maybe have, quite honestly, been kind of crappy, and deciding that, you're going to move past it, you're going to move forward, you're going to move through it. How about that? And along the way, you will be strengthening yourself on the inside and making yourself stronger and better. So the seed that you need to plant this month is all about this idea of resiliency, this idea of transformation. I'm really getting that idea of transformation, taking, the seed of transformation, whatever you have in your life right now, and, being determined that where you are right now is not where you're going to be in a year or 10 years, or 15 years from now, right? So what types of steps can you make to move out of your current situation and into something more amazing? And that's what I want you to consider. Strength, resiliency, how can you really look at that and take active steps to get there? The moon, great. So when it comes to you with this and trying to decide, how can we pull some of these ideas of responsibility and maturity, as well as, strength and resiliency, you need to start listening to your gut on this. You need to start considering what is out there from the bigger picture. Look at yourself from a top-down perspective, and then consider yourself from an inside-out perspective, really using your intuition to look at the situation. That is going to be one of the best things for you this month as things, move and change and, potentially, a few dings along the way, as we, oftentimes will see. The moon is going to help you in regards to focusing on, your intuition and what is there for you. So, this card we're going to hold on. Right now, guys, I want you to think about the 5 people in your life that you are the closest to, or you feel like you'll be spending a lot of time with in April. We're going to take a look at that. By the way, I'm using the Vice Versa Tarot, and these cards actually have no backs. So they're double-sided. It's a really interesting deck, but I'm not holding the deck in a funny way. That's just how these cards are. So please think about the 5 people that you have the most connection to, or you feel like you'll have the most connection to this month. Ooh. And I'm going to think about, the energy that you need to pull towards you, the energy that you need to push away, and you consider those people that you are the closest to. Okay. All right. Oh, beautiful. Okay. All right, excellent. Wow, more of this fiery energy that I'm seeing in here, which is interesting because we're getting kind of this battle, honestly, I'm seeing between sort of the passions that you have. I mean, there's a lot of like really passionate energy, and some of it I'm seeing might be somewhat not rational, somewhat irrational. But what you need to do when it comes to the energies for you this month that you need to kind of pull towards you and push away, I would say make sure that as you are stepping out and that you are looking at new things and considering new ideas and potentially launching new things ahead and looking at your intuition and considering what's there and digging into your strength, that you are not focusing too heavily on the people around you and the opinions that they have for you, that you are, for some of you, this is going to be, taking too far into account some of those really super stable things that you have in your life that you feel, they're not going anywhere. My foundation is so strong, it can't possibly be shaken. Don't take anything for granted in regards to that. But once again, stand on your own independently. And also go ahead with reason. I'm seeing this big kind of battle between being really passionate, but then not thinking before you act. So make sure that some of that is being taken into consideration. When it comes to your friends, I feel, or those 5 people that you were thinking about, these people, in many ways, I think are going to, and this might be coming back to this situation here, the people that those 5 people, many of them are going to be sort of acting behind the scenes a bit in a way that may actually undermine some of the things that you're doing. But I don't think they're going to be doing it maliciously. They're going to be doing it in a way that's almost parental, in a way where they feel like they're doing the best thing for you or helping you in the best way or helping guide you in the best way. But I'm actually seeing that as something that you might want to move away from. So keep that in mind. And once again, they're not being malicious. It's just, that's, they're doing it out of a good place, but it's actually going to they're pointing you in the wrong direction. When you look back at April, later in the year, all right, it looks like it's going to end up feeling like a 5 of Cups time for you. So what can we do? Because 5 of Cups, guys, is a lot about, being sad or being upset about a loss, but then once again, kind of missing what's there in front of you. So when I look back over this, guys, I am seeing here, potential loss going on, but I'm seeing a lot of really great things happening. I'm seeing the opportunities that are there. So as you're moving through this month, as you have things that are disappointing for you, definitely understand that, yeah, those things are real, but at the same time, don't forget some of the other amazing things that are going on and moving. The 8 of Rods is a really fantastic card, and it shows a lot of things sort of moving energy-wise through the month. Whether or not those things are going to kind of pop up this month, I'm not sure. But this is asking you to make sure, and I dropped it, but it is asking you to make sure that you are keeping your eye on what is important. All right, so now I grabbed it. There we go. All right, so I have one last piece for you guys. We're going to take a look at that. It's going to be at the end, so go over to that timestamp. I will see you there. All right, if you chose this pearl colored stone, then this is your reading. And the card that we get for you is friendship. All right, so April is a month for you to start really making sure that you're reaching out to those people around you. They are going to be there not only for you to feel better and enjoy their companionship, but something about them being here this month is going to be helpful for you in regards to just progressing where you need to be, helping you achieve your goals, helping you get to a better place and where you do need to be. So guys, what we're going to do today, just kind of a quick rundown. I have 3 different tarot decks here we're going to be working with, and then we have one final card pull at the end that we are going to do. And of course, we're looking at the entire month of April with an emphasis on some of the seeds that maybe you have planted in the past or that you can plant moving on through this month that are going to best serve you. So we're going to start first off with these first few cards, looking at some of the energy that was flowing through March that is currently impacting you in April, and as well as a seed that maybe you planted that you need to spend some more time nurturing. So let us see what we get. All right. Interesting. Okay, great. So as you move into April, guys, and move through April into April, we have the World reversed as the card that you are going to be kind of having sort of internally, this sort of as the kind of the frame that you're seeing the world through. And there's this feeling in April that you're going to be walking through it almost like you're half a beat off, right? Like the world is moving, that, you know, everything's moving ahead, but you're feeling like you're just at a misstep with it a little bit, which is good and bad at the same time. It's good because it's so close, right? It's so close to feeling as though you are in perfect harmony with everything, but at the same time, it's not quite right, right? The energy around you and the energy of the month, if you're able to tap into it, actually has a lot of opportunities for new beginnings, for stability, for seeds that can be planted this month. So it's a good month for that. So I would say, you know, however you are internally, start focusing on some of the external things that are going on around, going on around you. Because this could be kind of a feeling that you end up having all month. This is where these friends might actually end up coming in real handy. So I hope you have a tarot journal, guys. I find those to be really helpful because you can kind of review some of these things and see how they're playing into your life. And anytime we see something that's kind of negative, it's always good to know that that's coming up and then kind of take some actions, you know, to move through that. So last month, so the month of March, actually, there is this idea or this concept that maybe in March, some of you might have maybe moved too quickly on something that you thought was a great idea, but actually was not. Or you might have stepped into something that perhaps you weren't quite ready to step into. That might be a little bit of where this is. There might just be a growth period that you are still kind of working through, and that might be why you're feeling just a little bit out of step. Anytime we start something new, we're going to feel like, you know, we're not quite where we need to be with that. So for some of you, it might just be as simple as, you know, starting something that maybe you weren't quite ready for. Others of you did something kind of boneheaded last month that almost impacted your entire month, and you're still feeling that this month. Looking at getting away from just that general energy and looking at a seed that perhaps you had in the past that you planted but haven't really tapped into or spent a lot of time looking at. So I'm getting two messages here, one general message and then one that's just sort of rushed to the beginning. So for many of you, what I'm seeing here, the Page of Rods energy, guys, is all about this idea of creativity, but creativeness in like a passionate way. So creativeness as in like, I'm going to create something new and great and amazing, you know, new projects, new businesses, anything like that. And for many of you, you guys had some great ideas in regards to that, where it was something that was brand new and you were excited about it and you just sort of let it drop. That is something that you need to go ahead and pull back up. I'm getting a really like a strong message for, I think it might just be for one person out there, where you received a direct actual message, a letter, an email, something that was really important that you needed to take care of something with, and you totally dropped the ball with it. It needs to be managed in April. And you need to handle that. You need to look for that. I'm worried I'm going to have everyone frantically checking their emails, but at least one of you, there's something where you kind of dropped the ball with something that was sent your way. I'm feeling like it's an email. Honestly, I don't think it was something verbal. I feel like it was an email or a letter, something along those lines. All right. Moving on, I want to take a look at something that you can plant this month in terms of a seed. This is a great month, a great month for you to plant something. What is that thing going to be? What is that opportunity for you? And then also we want to look at the best advice for you in regards to nurturing. And then we want to see what April is going to have for you in general. So let's see what we get. All right. Number one opportunity for you. All right. So this is the seed that I want you to plant this month actually has to do with something that you are really going to be excited to do, something that you're going to be excited about. I'm seeing for many of you, it's going to be like a trip or a cruise or something along those lines. Now, this is something that you're going to be planting the seed for it this month. I'm getting vacation really strongly for many of you. That doesn't mean you're going to go this month. This is just something I want you to start laying down the seeds for. This is a good month to start planning for a future vacation. For many of you, something like a cruise. But the general energy that I'm getting from this is, pick something that you haven't done in a while that you really enjoy doing, something that you're really excited about, that makes you happy, something that makes you completely forget all of the cares of the world and you can just really immerse yourself in. Take time to make plans for that thing. That's what I want you to think about that and start laying out something for you, stepping forward that you can do that's going to help with that. In general, when it comes to nurturing what you have around you and what you can do, here we go again, looking at this. The Six of Pentacles is asking you this month, guys, as you're trying to just make sense of your life and take these seeds and kind of sow them into something that will bear fruit, so to speak. It's asking you to remember that what you put into things is what you're going to get out of it. The things that you put in now are things you're going to get later, but it's also reminding you that sometimes you have to rely on other people to get to where you need to be. And that friendship card is going to be, once again, we're going back to that. So I'm getting a sense of community for you. Make sure that you have backup when it comes to looking at your goals and those things that you want to do. That's going to be really important for you. So we're going to hold off on that card. What I want you to do right now is I need you to think about the 5 people in your life that you will be spending a lot of time with in April, or that you feel really close to. We're going to see how they're going to be impacting you. I'm using the vice versa tarot, guys. So if you're looking at it and wondering like what the heck is going on, every card has it has no backs. It just has 2 fronts. So so I'm not holding it in a wonky way. So yeah, we're going to look at what those 5 people, what their influence will be on your life, but we're also going to look at the energy that you need to push away from you and the energy that you should be pulling towards you this month. All right. All right. So, okay, looking, and this is really interesting. Looking at what the cards are telling you to kind of pull towards you and kind of push away. So, some of you this month are going to get this. You guys are going to miss out on some things, or you're going to feel like you're missing out on some things. And it's asking you to make sure that you're not falling into this like woe is me trap. Okay. Make sure that you're aware that, just because other people are doing great things and you're doing okay things doesn't negate the fact that you're still doing okay things. All right. So some of you might see yourself coming in second place, or seeing yourself as a step behind or a step out of touch, but it's reminding you, saying, hey, don't focus on that. It is reminding you and asking you to make sure that you are focusing on the things that you absolutely need to have in your life. Look at those things that you need in order to live, survive, and be happy. And don't focus on the things that aren't going to fall into that general category. That's kind of what I'm getting from that there. When it comes to those people that are going to be around you, we have got 5 people and 5 cups. I feel like this has happened in the past. I'm getting a little bit of deja vu here. But I'm seeing kind of a mixed bag in regards to these people. Some of the people that you have that are going to be impacting you this month, some of them are going to be impacting you in a really positive way, where they are going to be filling your cup, so to speak, and some of them are really going to be knocking it over or taking away. So I would say minimize the amount of time with those people that are not being helpful, and spend more time with those people who are. Okay, and then looking back at April, when we get later in the year, 9 of Pentacles, that's a fantastic card. I mean, that tells me that when you look back at April in many ways is going to feel a little bit like a sanctuary, or something where you know, a lot of things were actually coming into line or coming into place for you. So even though there's some things that feel a little bit funky here, I think when we look back at it, you know, when we look down at everything here, it's a really good time for new starts, for new beginnings, for making plans that are going to allow you to really kind of have some awesome things moving ahead. It's reminding you to kind of go back to the basics in regards to what you really need, and you know, spend time with those people that are filling your cup rather than taking away from it. So that's what I'm seeing for you. I've got one last card to pull for you, but I'm going to clear the table first, so just stick around and we'll get right to it. So before you leave today, guys, I have one last bit of guidance for you. It is from the Earth Power Oracle deck. It is one of my favorite decks. I'm actually using it this year as my monthly pulls just for myself personally. While I'm going ahead and shuffling here, let me know down below in the comments what you chose, and certainly let me know how this resonated with you. You know, let me know, are you keeping a tarot journal? Are you keeping track from month to month? And certainly give this the thumbs up if you haven't already done so. It certainly helps. All right, so I'm going to take just one last bit of guidance. And of course, guys, you had, you know, each of you had one of these cards, you know, with that general theme. Take that as well as the reading and sort of combine it with this to get something that's going to be, you know, even give you even more guidance. So I have Taormina. I'll just let you see that. And it says, I do not resist change. Change can be a creative force. I can build upon my strengths. So I do not resist change. Change can be a creative force. I can build upon my strengths. Take a screenshot if you need to, guys. Those are some great words of wisdom that you can use as affirmations this month, if that is something that you are into. But I am so happy that you came here for your April month ahead reading. Once again, let me know how this resonated with you down below. Make sure you subscribe so that I'll see you again next month, and I will see you next time.